if you're not sick of us, episode 26. Myself, Mark here. No Evan today. He's going to take a little break from the podcast. Got some stuff going on, but I do have the one and only, the beautiful, the handsome, the amazing. Oh, he's looking around. Hey, it's Curtis. What's up?
Oh, that's me. Man. I will go out with you. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
Thirsty Suitors is what that made me think of. That game. I think it's on Game Pass. Thirsty Suitors. Check it out. Hey man, what's going on? What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I've been playing a little bit of New World. A little bit of Avowed.
A little bit or a lot?
Actually, it was a little bit. I took a week hiatus. I actually from games entirely, just busy with being a lame adult. And then played a New World last week. I played it a lot, so I know you're not max level yet, but when you get there, you'll see that the expeditions, just their name for dungeons, the end game ones are called mutated, and they have like different traits and stuff that rotate every week, and they get 3 random ones every week. And there's one in particular that drops best in slot gear for a tank, and that one had not been on rotation for like 8 weeks, I think. So when it came on, I had to I ran that one the max amount of times that you can run it, so 35 times, right? So that one took a good chunk of time to get through those
35 times.
Yeah. That's the max
to get the drop, right? So to get the drop, or like
so multiple. It's a whole set, right? It's a whole armor set. Yeah. And the problem is there's no pity system, right? So out of my 35 runs, I got 5 drops, and 2 of them were chest pieces and 2 of them were helmets. So
you didn't get the full
exactly,
rack.
yeah. And now who knows how long it's going to be until that dungeon comes back into the rotation, right? Every Tuesday, three new ones pop up, but it's not necessarily new ones, because like the same one that's this week could also pop up in next week. So it's just like a random set of 3 that gets set up.
Can those be put on the auction house and sold or traded or anything, or
no? So the only thing that you can do to kind of balance out the fact that you're not getting the piece dropped is you get some crafting material essentially every time you complete one of the mutated dungeons, but it takes you get very little, and it takes like a significant amount to actually craft any of the pieces. So you have to, I think I did the math last time, because I was starting to get irritated, and I think you have to run 70 to be able to create so you have to exactly. And that was if so there's 3 tiers when you beat it, right? There's bronze, silver, and gold, and you get more and more crafting material per run, and that was at the highest tier, right? Which doesn't happen very often with public groups, right? So it's probably more than 70. I didn't do the numbers for that. I just did it for a gold run. So was playing some New World, played a little bit of Avowed, and then a little bit of Rogue Trader.
I'm sorry, that didn't sound like Monster Hunter Wilds. I heard it sounded like you said Rogue Trader.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So I went to Rogue Trader. I went to Monster Hunter Wilds, and then I saw my phone, and you're like, "Yo, are you getting Monster Hunter Wilds?" And I was like, "Well, this guy's got Monster Hunter Wilds. I sure don't want Monster Hunter Wild. So I guess I'll go see what's new on Game Pass."
It was like, I don't want this guy spamming me with invites. Wow.
So. No, I will eventually hop on the Monster Hunter Wild band, but probably wait for a sale. I know it just came out, so I'll probably be waiting for a minute. Maybe it'll pop up in Steam sale. Although, from what I understand, the PC version is struggling a little bit. So I think I'd rather get it on console.
It runs great on console, man.
Yeah. So that's what I like to hear. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So
just seems like it wasn't well optimized on PC. I know a couple of the guys in the Discord are playing, and it's going just pretty much fine for them. But then you see it online, it's like it's terrible. And like Digital Foundry did their video, and like, we can't recommend this. Like, it's that bad. So it's just always so weird to me. Like, I'm trying to understand: are we so like that audience is so focused in their perspective of like, oh, if it's not the best of the best, like, this runs like trash, can't recommend? Or is it like so broken that they truly can't recommend it? Because anecdotally, the people I know playing it are like, they're fine. Like, yeah, I get some pop in here and there, but Everything's good. It runs smoothly. So I don't understand. I mean, these guys have beefy rigs though too, I think. So
okay. Yeah, that's what I saw is like if you don't have kind of like a top of the line system right now, you're gonna be struggling. I saw the same stuff from Digital Foundry, and like I think IGN and GameRanks and stuff were referring to their findings, and so I was like, granted, I think it's pretty well known at this point that I like to jam on the couch on the console, so it didn't really affect me so much, but still completely understand the frustration when you get average or recommended specs and then it doesn't work even when you meet or exceed those.
Yeah, I get it. And it is like, I mean, it's like, please just optimize your game, especially if it's going to make like crazy amounts of money. But it truly is, as a developer, easier to target a single, platform like
Xbox
1000% or PlayStation, right?
Absolutely.
So, but I mean, the game runs really well. I have it on the that same balance mode with the 120 hertz screen that we talked about with Avowed. So yeah, it runs pretty good. But that's mainly what I've been playing as well. I played some Avowed. I'm going to go back to that, but hopping on the Monster Hunter Wilds while the iron is hot, so to speak, playing with some of the folks on Discord. I even got my younger brother-in-law Noah playing it, so he was enjoying that today.
From the past.
Yeah. So,
bro, I haven't seen that kid. The last time I saw him, he was like 3.5 feet tall.
He'll be graduating soon in high school, man. So,
God, dude, we are old.
Yeah, he's playing on PC. He's got a medium rig. He said it runs just fine. So I don't know.
Right on. Okay.
But yeah, we just helped him finish the first Apex Predator of like the first region. So and that fight is awesome. There's some really cool stuff in there. So yeah, played that, and then a little bit of Minecraft with the kids. So I didn't realize there's like a LAN mode where it like auto detects like other games on your LAN. So then my daughter's on the iPad, my son's on the Xbox Series S, and I hopped on the Xbox Series X for a little bit and just kind of help them out. And they're like, my son's like crazy. He's like, I'm going underwater. I put him in creative mode. It's like, I find this, I find that. He's like building stuff. He's like, I need an axe and I need a bow and arrow. I'm like, damn, dude, like
slow down.
Like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna save the whole world here when you're 3 years old. And then my daughter is totally opposite. Like, she loves arts and crafts. So she's like, I'm building the house. And she's like, building the house. She's like, this is the room, my room, his room, all this stuff. Like, you get a green bread, I get a bed, and I get a pink one. So it's interesting to see those two play differently. So
absolutely. My favorite Minecraft. I've never played Minecraft myself. That one's, like came out as a little bit as we were older, but my old job, the I guess second in charge, he bought his two sons. I think they were both a little bit older than your kids are now at the time, but he bought his kids two tablets and they downloaded Minecraft and stuff like that. And he came in and we were chatting, and I just remember he came in all pissed off one morning, and he's like, man, got the boys those tablets I told you about. It was going great. Then I had to take them away. I was like, why? And he's like, my one kid just built a house, and then the other kid came in with dynamite and blew it up, and then that kid's screaming, and the other
my god.
He's like it was an all-night ordeal, and now
god.
I'm the bad guy, and it's just hilarious, dude.
Like, it's just like real life playing with toys and stuff. It don't matter. They're in the virtual space.
Exactly.
That happened a little bit. Like, I do get a little annoyed because I'm like, all right, you guys are all set up now. Dad's going to play some Monster Hunter. You're like, Dad, how do I do this? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. I'm like, for the last time, it's the left trigger. Which one's left? I'm like, oh my God.
My buddy and his wife, when they come over to play board games, their daughter usually plays Minecraft on my Xbox, and she'll like that'll happen sometimes too. We'll be like playing our board game or whatever, and she'll come over and be like, I'm trying to make the diamond bow. Like, what do I need? And like Connor, my buddy, like, I don't think he knows anything about Minecraft. It's usually his wife that can help stuff out. But he's like, I don't know what the recipe is. Find some diamonds and some string. Like, what do you want me to do about this?
Yeah, that's why I finally put him on creative mode, because I didn't realize you get access to everything. I just thought like I knew you could like fly around and build stuff. I didn't know you had access to literally everything. So I'm like, all right.
Oh, okay.
Put them in creative mode, and then of course they're like, how do I fly? I'm like, oh my God, double tap A. And then they're like triple tapping it, quadruple tapping it. It's like, it's not working. Yeah. I'm like, okay. And then they can't sleep in like certain things you can't do, like sleep in the bed if you are not on the ground. It just says you are too far away because you're flying.
Sure.
Yeah. So Anyway, yeah, interesting times of just like I'm literally gonna tape like a giant L on their left hand and a giant R on the right hand. It's the one with the L is how you build
I
stuff
love
and
it.
not destroy it, right?
I love it. You need to make it like a little crib sheet and just be like, little arrows.
Yeah.
When I leave, when I travel for work or personal or whatever, and I have like somebody stay here with my dogs to dog sit. Like I don't have any regular TV or anything, right? I watch everything through Xbox, so I had to make one of those for whoever's dog sitting because they're like, "How do I watch TV?"
Yeah.
So you have to make one of those for Minecraft.
Exactly. Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. Yeah, then my daughter, 5 years old, got hit with her first instance of stick drift. So I gave her like the old Xbox controller. I hooked it up, connected it to the iPad. It was like, great. She doesn't have to use the touch controls anymore. She's playing with the controller. She's like, Daddy, it just keeps looking up in the sky. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, this because they're not Hall effect sticks. And this is why video game companies suck. No.
Oh man, amazing.
Yeah. So, what'd you think of Avowed? So you kind of told me on the side you were like not super impressed. Did your opinion change or no?
No, not so much, dude. I haven't played. I think I probably only played for about like 5 hours at this point, and I keep remembering the text Evan sent, or maybe it was a Discord message. I don't remember. But he's like, oh man, you got to get like 10 hours in so you get sucked into it, man. And like, I'm like, bro, if I have to like spend 10 hours doing something to get addicted to it, like there's a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Like it should be heroin. The moment I turn it on, I should not want to turn it off. And I don't get that feeling with Avowed. I like their new combat system. I think it's different. It's engaging and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I like the variety of the weapons and how they all act differently. I absolutely hate that there is next to zero incentive to actually use the combat system because I get 6 experience when I finish a battle, or I get 1800 when I finish a quest. Which I'm not saying that they should be equal by any means, but 6, like literally 6 experience. Are you kidding me? Like it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The story is not super engaging to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably my biggest gripe, because I keep comparing these to like the goats, at least for my personal goats.
Yeah.
Like Knights of the Old Republic, like Mass Effect, like Witcher, like games that you turn on and within 20 minutes you're like, I can't stop playing this. I'm calling off work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And this, I just don't get that. When I first played it, I think I played it for 2.5 hours, like for that first time, and I was waiting for that moment to kick in, and I'm like, I can turn this off and I'm good. Like I'll get back to it when I get back to it. Love the visuals though. Like it's super. I love the color palette, everything about it. Super eye catching. Absolutely hate the stupid mushrooms and shit that like grows on people's faces for like your
for the God touch.
Just ridiculous. Looks absolutely stupid. And I know I cannot be the only one to think that, since they added in the feature to hide that entirely. So like when I saw that feature, I was just like, I wonder if they added this after the fact, because like the developer, whoever the artist that put that together, like, yeah, this stuff looks awesome. And then they go to like testing phase and people are like, this looks ridiculous. Let me turn this off now. And like I just feel like that artist is like, I gotta go kill myself now.
It's like, no, my life's work's gone. Yeah, I went the route of like just cover my whole face with a tree and look like Groot instead of the mushrooms and stuff. I just have literally just a big piece of wood over my face.
just got the 2x4. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I when I played last, I had just finished, or I had just like beat the dude like very early on in the game. I just beat like the main ogre guy that is like in charge of like the gang that's in the city.
Yep. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. God, the something sparrows or something like that.
Like that. Yeah.
The ruffians in the city.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, I stumbled upon by accident the one of the bounties for the spider that was like right outside the city.
Yeah, it's right under the city.
Yeah. So beat that guy. Went and got my cash for that. And I'm a sucker for bounty systems, dude. I love like anytime there's a bounty system in any kind of game, like I immediately harken back to like Star Wars Galaxies, right? Where I'm like, let's go. And that's the first thing I want to do. But again, the bounty system is a little bit different because it's still kind of a quest, so you actually get some legit rewards for doing the bounty. And that's like the only time that I actually feel compelled to really engage in battle, because you have to, because it's a bounty. Like, but beyond that, then I'm just like, I'll just run by these guys because why? So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Not super far in. I don't really have a huge desire or like inkling to go back and play it, but I will. But it's not like, man, I can't wait to get home from work so I can go play this kind of game, kind of thing.
That makes sense. And fighting the guys, like a lot of the drops are mainly like materials and stuff, right? You're not like getting anything of value of it. The only thing you get is usually from a treasure chest that's like hidden beyond where you beat the guys, maybe. Or like if it's a big bad guy, you defeat him, he sometimes will drop stuff, but then it's all about what that little treasure chest or big treasure chest with a purple or orange item around the corner. You know what I mean? So I could see that. I saw a lot of people online complaining about the battle system too. Like they liked the attacking, the fighting system, but like the grimoire and spells are like so powerful that seems to be like what a lot of people use. Of course, it's like on Reddit and stuff, so it's a very small group. And then they complain, like, as you go on, like, you literally are just kind of casting the 4 same spells in whatever order you've decided, and you just do that over and over. So they found it kind of boring. They're like, all right, my opener is Blizzard, and then I cast Flame, and then I do Poison, and then I do this, and then I do it again. Like, it just like
until everybody's dead.
Yeah, exactly. So I could see it getting kind of boring in that regard. But I do like the battle system. Do you feel like if you knew more about the Pillars of Eternity universe and played the first 2 games, you'd be more invested, or no? Like the story and like the lore and stuff. Like, do you think it'd be like, oh, you would be like more into finding out what's going on, or no?
It's a good question. I think I would have to know about that universe in general to be able to answer that question. Because I've never played either of these games, so I don't know anything about it. So I'm not sure. Possibly. I mean, more information is always better, right? But you got to be able to, like, you can't cram that all in one game necessarily if you're building off of another universe, right? So it is kind of weird that they would do like that. To me, at least, I think it's kind of weird that like they go from the like Diablo style. That's because that's like Pillars of Eternity's like Diablo style, right?
It's CRPG style, like Baldur's Gate style. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like to that, and then kind of build upon that world, kind of tack on the new like Avowed system in that same world. But again, I've only played a handful of hours, so maybe it harkens back to that, and I just haven't noticed it, or am just completely unaware of it because I don't know those games.
Yeah, they're on Game Pass. You should, if you get a chance, like maybe give one a try. I don't know if you like. I mean, you're playing Rogue Trader, which is a CRPG as well.
Yeah.
You might like Pillars of Eternity, but it's more old school. It's more like Baldur's Gate 2. Like, it literally is meant to be a spiritual successor to that. So I think it could be hard to go play after playing Baldur's Gate 3. Like, that's just so perfect, right?
That's the problem that I've been having with all of those style games at this point, right? Even with Rogue Trader, and you know how much I love the Warhammer universe, but like you go into a cutscene, they have like voice acting and stuff like that, and it's usually pretty decent too. But there's like no cutscene or anything like that, right? It's just a script, and then they read through the script. And I'm like, oh, damn you, Baldur's Gate, you just ruined every other game like this for me.
Yeah, they're so good. It's like, it's nuts. They're gonna feel that for a long time in the industry. Is Rogue Trader multiplayer?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, so for people that don't know, Rogue Trader is Warhammer 40k universe, CRPG Baldur's Gate style, but set in that mythos. So, and it got good reviews. I think it wasn't like amazing, but
my boss from work told me about it when it first came out. I specifically didn't want to buy it because I knew it was a very long, in-depth kind of game. So when it came to Game Pass, I was like, oh, cool, interesting. That I don't feel the need to get my money's worth out of it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about it. Just from my knowledge of the Warhammer universe in general, like I was able to talk with him about it somewhat intelligently, and he's like, dude, it's like dripping Warhammer theme. Like I went over to these kids whose parents just died, and like my chat option was like, well, it's a good thing your parents died in the service to the Emperor. You should be, and I was like, yeah, this is Warhammer. So it's and like it's definitely spot on with the theme for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it got 78 out of 100 on Metacritic. So I mean around the 80 area, right? Which is kind of what you expect. Like that's a good game. It's just not
absolutely
Baldur's Gate, right? So
exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah, man, Monster Hunter Wilds, that's what I've been digging into a little bit. And so I beat the first, like the story bit. The story bit takes like 10 to 12 hours. Like the main story, like low rank. You've played Monster Hunter games before, obviously. So low rank
was the last one. Worlds, right?
I think Rise was in between there, but World was the last main one. Because I think Rise was maybe like only on Switch at first and then console. I can't remember. I honestly don't know. Somebody will correct me in the comments. But yeah, 10 to 12 hours maybe for the main story. And the story is much better than like previous ones, but it's still nothing to write home about. I find myself like clicking through them and just catching like they have like a summary almost cut scene like at each big moment. And it's like, because of blah, 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 we're searching for blah, blah, blah and hunting this guy. And it's like, okay, cool. I got it. Yeah. Or you can listen to all the dialogue. But the monsters are cool. I think there's I want to say 18 new ones and 11 returning, and then they're going to keep updating it like they do every couple months with new monsters. But yeah, just got into the high rank stuff, and they're like pretty interesting fights and more difficult, and sometimes two monsters at once, just like previous Monster Hunters. So it's pretty good, man. But the thing that's absolute dog shit in this game is the like friend and invite system. It's crazy. Like it is so difficult to get somebody into your game.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. So you have a squad, you have a link party, you have a hunter ID with you add friends. There's a lobby, and something else. And it's like, okay, what the hell is each one of these, and how do I do it? So you can't even get your own hunter ID, which is like a Nintendo Switch friend code, until like 5 quests in, and then you got to add them. And so like the squad is what would equate to like a guild. A lobby is just like who's on your server for the time being, kinda.
Okay. Because the like, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen on like the YouTube stuff like that, are you always playing solo in your world, or I thought this was more of like MMO-ish where there's other people like running around on the map with you, right?
Yeah, always. So basically when you get on, it's like, hey, what lobby you want to join, which is essentially like a mini server, right? Okay. So they have one big server they're connecting you to somewhere. Sure. It's broken up to like through multiple hots. Yeah. And then you never pick like South America, North America, nothing.
Okay.
And then you're just like, hey, what lobby you want to go in? The first option is recommended lobby. So it's just going to connect you to players basically in your region, most likely. Then you can search for a lobby based on, whatever characteristics. You can do a squad lobby. So that's your guild. And there's up to like 10 people in a squad lobby or some crap. And there's one other option. But that essentially you join, you go out to in the hub area, like in a little town or camp. You'll see the other players. So you see, people from Japan, America, whatever. And then you can like interact with the people in the lobby. And then when you go out to hunt, you're going by yourself. And only if you put up the SOS flare can they come join you.
I see. Okay.
Now, if you're in a link party, that's like 4 people max, because you can only hunt with 4. So if you and me and 2 other people got in a link party, this is where it gets confusing sometimes, but then anytime I go to do something, you're automatically going to be notified that I'm hunting a monster, and you have an option to join me. So we can each do our own thing.
Okay.
And so it's kind of cool. It's just confusing. So we could each be doing our own thing and be like, oh, Curtis is fighting Rathalos. Do you want to join? Yeah. You pop over and join right away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like you're getting an invite without actually having to send an invite.
Yeah, exactly. So the link party's cool, but then if you have like, if you got like 6 people on at once, you want to be in the same like squad lobby because you know, you might not be in the link party, but at least you could invite somebody manually if you wanted to, I guess.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, but it gets really confusing. So like, I hate the system. I just want, you're my friend or you're not. We're in a guild and we connect to some server. Like a million games have done this before you, and a million games will do it after you. And you have Nintendo syndrome where you can't figure this shit out. Like, what are we doing?
Yep, that sounds about right. So that's interesting. Out of the, you know, half dozen videos and stuff I've watched, nobody has really mentioned this.
Really?
At least out of the videos that I've seen. Now, granted, I think I've only watched like 2 review things, and then I'm like, oh, here's 10 things the game doesn't tell you, or 10 things to do first kind of videos that I've watched.
No.
Out of the review ones, I don't remember anything standing out about that. But that does sound ridiculously overly complicated,
dude. And even the one guy we're playing with, Grant, he's like, it's like Monster Hunter is his jam. He's like, I took the week off work to play this game, and I'm like,
legit.
Yesterday you were Hunter rank 36, and I think today you were 87. Like, what is going on? Yeah, and he's a guy I love this game. So he's like, he's great, man. He was like, when I ask a question, he's like, oh, it's this and this. This is how you do that. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's this. And he got me into the squad, like the guild, and all this stuff. And you can be a part of multiple guilds, by the way, multiple squads.
Oh, that's cool. Okay,
yeah. So you can see which of your boys or girls is on and hop in there and do that. But anyway, I'm like, how do I get my younger brother-in-law, Noah? I'm like, how do you get him into the thing again? Like, how do I get his hunter ID to do this? He's like, oh, it's like, man, I don't know. I can't find it. I'm like, this dude knows everything. He's level 87.
Buried, yeah.
Yes, and it was buried in multiple layers of, like, we kept going through all the menus, and we're like, I don't see the option. I don't see the option. We even click some, and we're like, I don't see it. It was in a menu, in another menu, tabbed over, and then you could find them and invite them by hunter ID. Yeah, dude, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So
like it's go to the Wikipedia to find this out. Like, good Lord.
And it's frustrating, right? For like, you try and get a new guy in, like Noah, and like, we just want to play together, and it's a 20-minute ordeal to figure out how to effing play together.
Yeah.
And then they don't want to play anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're, at that point, you're burnt out. You're like, screw this. I need a beer, or I need a freaking cigarette or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, just trying to get the trying to squat up, like you said. Every other game has had this knocked out for a decade or more, right?
Yeah.
Like, making a lobby or making a friends list and joining people is kind of step one when you're making this game. At least to me, I feel like this game series in general has always been about like doing this as a group too, right? It's not you can play solo, no problem, for sure, but like I think the real experience is when you're playing with friends, right? So or with other people in general. So to make that such a complicated hassle is kind of head scratching for sure.
Yeah. So but otherwise it's really good. It's really streamlined. So there's not like in the previous games, you know, like it takes a long time before you even hunt your first big monster. Like, oh, you got to go kill 6 jagas, and you know, the little ones. And give me your hides, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do that. And it's like, no, dude, like right away you're fighting a big dude, and you just going. There's not. I mean, you can go do the side quests of collecting those hides and stuff, but nah, you're just. It's all gas, no brakes. Like, you're just fighting.
There's a big bad. Go get him.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That would get annoying, right? You go kill the 6 jaggies so that you can make the big bad guy know that you're there, and then go collect a couple other 35 minutes later, you're like, oh, cool. Now I can do the 5-minute boss fight.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. That's that was one of the. I remember. When I stopped playing Monster Hunter World, that was one of the reasons that I stopped playing it, because I was like, it takes an hour to do this, but the actual fun part is only like 20 minutes.
Right.
So that's cool that they've kind of taken that feedback and implemented it.
Yeah, and then the mount too, right? Like, Monster Hunter was like turning into walking simulator sometimes. Like, you would beat the guy up, and then he would run away. God forbid this guy flies away or takes some path you can't follow.
Dude. Yep.
Yes.
jumps up the mountain or something like that, and
you're like,
you
how
got to
the
run through
hell
3
do I
different
get
zones.
over there? Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So the mount is great. The mount has like its own inventory. It has an alternate weapon that you can like swap gear, and then you can set it to auto run, and it can track anything on the map. It just goes. So like when
no way.
When the monster moves to a new zone, you hop on the mount, you tap the up button on the D-pad, and he starts going, following him, like he follows the scent, and you don't have to do anything. And then while you're riding,
real quick.
dude, and while you're riding, you can eat a ration. You can do your whetstone.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Dude. So it's way better. It's pretty good.
That is really cool. All right, I'm gonna need you to PayPal me
some donations.
Yeah, for sure.
And this game broke like some concurrent player records on Steam. I mean, it was like 1.3 million on at the same time, right? It's like number 5 all time, I think now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the last thing I thought I saw as well was number 5, which is awesome. Like I've always liked the series. I think the first one I played is you and I played it on whichever one was on the Wii U. Way back in the day. And I mean I've always liked it. But there has just always been one or two things that just are annoying, and especially when the monster runs through like multiple zones and you got to chase them on foot or even if it's on your mount or whatever, and then you get there and the thing like has been asleep for 10 minutes, so half of its health is back. So that's awesome. That sounds like some really good quality of life improvements.
Yeah, the high was 1.38 million just on Steam, and 24-hour peak is 1 million, so it's still pretty high. Let me ask you this, are you shocked that a game like this could get that high or no?
I wouldn't say,
because previous games were not like that, right? Like,
no, they definitely weren't. I think I would say surprised. Like I would be curious to know like what the tipping point was for the hype or the popularity, right? Because I know like I said, the last one that I played was Worlds or whatever. Game was gorgeous. It was super different compared to the previous iterations where like you didn't have to load into each separate little zone and stuff like that, right? So they again, more quality of life improvements from there. That was the first one that I played heavily, and so I would just be curious to see or what the theories are on how you go from well received, still kind of a niche game to number 5 all-time concurrent players, right?
It's nuts. And go ahead, I'm gonna share my screen of the tops of all time while you're talking.
So granted, I do have YouTube Premium, so I don't see a ton of ads, but I also don't really remember seeing like a ton of marketing hype for this game coming out either, other than like the beta weekends and stuff like that you could join in and play. I'm just super curious like what that ultimate tipping point was.
I'm trying to share my it's wanting to die on me. It's like my PC wanted to die by sharing this tab. I don't understand.
It's I see it now.
Like I don't understand what is happening right now, but okay, cool. My PC like freaks out. It doesn't like the thumbnail videos of us either. But anyway, PUBG, Black Myth Wukong, Power World, Counter-Strike 2, Monster Hunter Wilds. So Monster Hunter Wilds beat out some other big games like Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, Dota 2, Lost Ark. New World's up there, number 11.
No, New World at 11. Okay,
I ain't even mad about that. I feel like I should know that. Yeah, you should. It beat Baldur's Gate, man.
What the heck is Banana? Oh wow, that's pretty interesting.
I don't know.
Granted, I know back when the game launched in a few years ago when it was PC only, that was had a huge Amazon game studio.
Yeah, I have it sorted by all time. Okay, good. Yeah, I was worried that I had it sorted differently, but I have it sorted by all time.
Okay, yeah.
So let me do. Black Myth Wukong. I think that was it was a good game. I played it, and a huge population of Chinese players added to this, right? Chinese myth-based game, Chinese studio. So I think that's a tiny bit of an outlier. But will anything ever beat PUBG? 3.2 million,
dude. I
one time
remember
it just seems impossible, right?
Yeah, I remember playing PUBG, like just at the absolute heyday of it with you and Joe and some of our other buddies
Yeah.
and stuff like that, dude. It's just all anybody talked about for months and months and months and months was that game. I don't know and like it came out of nowhere too, right? It's just like, oh, you guys heard of this, and
Yeah.
then it just like, psh. So I don't know. It's gonna take a serious concerted effort, or something's just gonna become so popular overnight that nobody saw coming to kind of beat that.
I mean, Pal World tried. I mean, that became popular
Yep.
overnight, and it
Yep.
was only 2.1 million. So
Exactly.
it was 2/3 of what the other one did.
For sure.
And the thing is, PUBG was like, it ran like ass, dude.
Dude,
It was so
I
jank.
I legitimately I did not enjoy playing that game when like the visuals were not that great. Trying to shoot somebody that was beyond a few feet from you was just like maybe you'll hit them one every like 11 shots, even though like I know I'm tracking this dude correctly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't I like I played the hell out of that game just because I was playing with you guys and having a good time with the
Yeah.
boys, right? But like I didn't really enjoy the game so much as I just enjoyed hanging out.
Yeah. I mean, I think you it invented a genre, right? Or a subgenre, right? That
Exactly.
it
Yep.
was the first to do that. And then
Yeah.
obviously we know Fortnite was literally they were literally ready to close their game, and they're like, oh well, for the hell of it, let's make this a battle royale.
Let's try that. Yeah.
They dropped their I think their single player still, but they essentially dropped their single player game
Mhm.
mode for this. But I think it would have to be like invent a new genre that is so addicting that it gets
Yeah.
over 3.2 million, right? Like that's
Yep.
nuts.
And that's what you had. I mean, that's what they did, right? And I'm sure when they were making this, they had no idea that it was just going to be like this new, crack level genre that people are just going to make copy of after copy after copy of, right?
Right.
So I think it was just a right place at the right time kind of thing,
Yeah.
with just a very addicting game loop where it's like, there is nothing like that high when you're like
Yeah.
one of the last two teams in that tiny little circle, dude.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like
The
the
tension.
adrenaline spike. Yeah, exactly. You're just like, oh, he's behind the racks. Oh, he's got me. No, he's over there. What
Yeah.
do you do? Turn around. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. And
absolutely.
dude, it was the best, man. And I loved how like realistic. Well, realistic. It was jank, but it tried its best to being like realistic. It had like bullet drop and stuff. So
Hmm. Hmm.
if you were playing like duos or something, you had to work. You had to really work together and look out for each other
Exactly.
and all that stuff. It was cool. Yeah, I don't know if anything could beat it, dude. Like Pal World is one I thought like when it was going crazy, I'm like, oh, dude, maybe this will be the one that beats it because it's got that Pokemon hype behind
Yep.
it.
Yep.
2.1
Didn't hit it.
million. I don't
Didn't
know.
get
Yeah,
there. Didn't get there. Fell short.
yeah. So
Oh
your
man.
24-hour peak right now. Speaking of, let me put this back on the stream. PUBG number 3, 24-hour peak.
Wow. That's crazy to me. I genuinely
Yeah,
did not realize that so many people still played that game.
yeah. I think
And
there's a
same as Counter
rumor that
Strike.
yeah, Counter Strike's huge. I mean, just the tournament scene and everything, right? And they had
Good
that update to
lord.
the engine with this, I think. Yeah, 1.8. But Monster Hunter Wilds is number 2 there.
Number two.
So
Number two. Even
yeah,
with all
I actually
the issues, the what do you call it? Can't think of the word.
the
Stability issues.
performance issues. Yeah,
Performance, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, you know what? Could Grand Theft Auto 6, if it comes out on Steam day and date, is it gonna break 3.2 million or whatever?
Man, I that's a good question. I don't know. Like I'm not even all that hyped for Grand Theft Auto 6 if I'm being entirely honest. Like I think obviously it looks incredible. The graphic stuff like that look incredible, but I haven't beat
Yeah,
a Grand Theft Auto game since Grand Theft Auto 3 because
yeah,
these games just become so they've just become so much that I can
yeah,
get bored
yeah.
halfway through.
It's like a whole nother
Or
life in
less
there,
than that.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like literally, like you're, oh my guy's got to go eat now because he's starving. Oh, now I got to go take a dump because otherwise I'm gonna shit my pants. Like it's ridiculous. Um, so yeah, like I would be curious. I never really got hooked on or turned on to the Grand Theft Auto Online version, but
Mhm.
I'd be curious to see if if GTA 6 is going to do a new launch or a new version of that, and to see what that plays like. Because if that, I know people like really like the online version, and they've been playing it for years and years and years. So if
that
they
could get you hooked more than the single player, maybe.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
all right,
we'll see. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the all-time peak here. Granted, that was on consoles first, and this came like way later, I think. But 364,000, not quite doing it for 3 million.
We're at 10% mark.
yeah. That's funny. I was gonna say the other game I played is my camera's like catching up. I don't know, my camera's like dying or what. I'm moving so much. I was so animated in my anger about the friend thing that my camera wouldn't refocus, and I had to focus it. The other game I played is Split Fiction. So are you tracking on Split Fiction?
So I had not been tracking on it until Thursday when my buddy Jake Baldino over at Game Ranks, he posted a video about it, and so I watched it. That was the first that I had heard of it, if I'm being honest. But I mean, it looks like it's just kind of taking the co-op scene by storm at the moment. I haven't played it. Probably it doesn't. So from what I've seen, it's very much like a co-op puzzler kind of thing. I'm not smart, so I don't really like a ton of puzzle games. Because then I'd be playing them, and 3 minutes later I'm Googling the answer, right? So I don't think not for me personally, but I can definitely see from what I saw like why people are getting amped on this one for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, man, I don't know. I think you would like it. I don't think it's puzzler wise. I don't think it's like very puzzly at all. It's super simple.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So not to like talk down on my wife, but she's not a big gamer, right? Like she only plays certain things, and so she said she was interested in playing this with me. I'm like, sign it up, because you've said that like 5 times in our life. So we're playing this. So we sat down and we said, like, she was like, yeah, I'm tired, let's play like 20 minutes. We played like over 2 hours.
Oh snap. Okay.
Night. Yeah, dude. So she had a blast with it. She was doing better than me in some parts. Like, it's super well designed in that it's like a ton of different genres. So it's like the one of the very first like worlds you play. Like, so do you know the background of the game?
No,
at all. Okay, so I'll give a super high level non spoiler of the game. Basically, like this big bad corporate guy invites these authors, and he's like, hey, you're unpublished authors, I'm going to publish your first book, it's going to be incredible. And they get there, they had like signed all this paperwork, they get there, he's like, yeah, by the way, you need to step into this giant machine, and I'm going to analyze your brain and get your story like exactly what it is, right? So okay, the one character, like, yep, that sounds great, please publish my book. The other chick's like, nah, I'm not doing this. And they get like in a tussle. Yeah, they get like in a tussle, and she gets like shoved into the same machine pod as the other player, right? And so now the machine's all jacked up, and really this big bad guy's like trying to steal every idea from your brain. That's the plot of the story, right?
Okay.
And so the one author chick is a sci-fi, the other author chick is a fantasy, and now their minds are crossing, right? And so you're playing through their stories that they have made.
So the two people that like get in the fight are the two characters that you're playing.
No, it's like the bad guys and one of the chicks get in a fight, gets shoved into the machine where the other chick is, the other co-op chick.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So now they're living in each other's fantasy books and sci-fi books, and so like one of the very first worlds that you play through is cyberpunk based, and so the developers have done an amazing job of like creating these levels and stuff based on games that they like, games and movies. So there's like a Dune type level, there's a cyberpunk, like complete with the music. Some of the levels are nods to levels in cyberpunk, like the one where you're going up above a club through the rafters, almost exactly in this game, but that's way awesome. Way dumbed down and simpler. Not to a fault, but to like, my wife can pick up and play it, and she's not a big gamer, and so it's like action, platforming, fighting. Not a lot of like the puzzles is like, oh, I have to pull this trigger I'm going to pull this trigger, something's going to pop up, you shoot it. Like that's the type of puzzles we're talking, like nothing crazy, but it's been a ton of fun for the first couple hours. I would highly recommend it to anybody that's interested in co-op games, or is like is married or has a spouse or a significant other that you want to get to play a game.
Okay. Is it so? From what I remember, like this was meant, like it was pretty much created to be like a couch co-op kind of thing, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, but you can play it online, and the great thing about the game is one, it's $50, not $70. Two, if you have Game Pass, it's only $45 because you get the EA Play 10% off or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
You get a second copy for free. So as long as you buy the game, your friend, spouse, partner, whoever can play the game with you. You can invite them to play the game and download it, and they can't play it outside of playing with you, but they do it for free. So you don't have to buy 2 copies.
That's a super cool feature.
Yeah, totally. And you can do that as many times as you want. So like you play with your wife, you guys finish it, you find a buddy you want to play with. You just revoke the copy and then add the next person. Else. Exactly. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. So that's basically all I've got about the game right now. But it's again like genre bending. So you're not doing the same thing the whole time. Like the one level, it was like it turned into like an auto runner. We were running from these giant ogres in the fantasy world. It was like an auto runner, and so we were just like old school mini games, kind of like, I don't know, a Mario Party or something. You're jumping over obstacles and stuff like that. And then the next part was an action cyberpunk where I had a sword and she had a gravity whip, and we're just fighting bad guys, like almost like Diablo style fighting them. And then there was like a third person shooter part, so it jumps around all the time. That's
pretty interesting. I might be all right. So I guess you got $50 to $70 burning a hole in your pocket. You going Monster Hunter, or you going this one?
Oh, me personally, I'm probably going Monster Hunter. But if you're looking to play with somebody or have a co-op, or like, you know, maybe play with your wife, I would do Split Fiction. I mean, the game's got amazing reviews. The performance, if you're looking you want to knock on something, Monster Hunter Wild's performance not great. The performance is top notch on this, even in split screen co-op. Yeah, I think if you watch the Digital Foundry video, they were blown away. They're like, we don't say this often, which is crazy, but like for modern games, like something's always wrong. This thing just runs like perfectly.
Wow.
On consoles, PC, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this going to keep EA out of worst gaming company in the world this year?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody shared in the Discord, I think Evan did, was like, this is the first EA game in over like 15 years or something to get a 90 on Metacritic, a 90 plus.
I absolutely believe that too. That's pretty incredible. So I think the next step is probably they're going to shut that studio down, right?
Yeah, maybe his light. Yeah. You remember the game It Takes Two? Did you play it or no? Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't play it, but I know it. I'm familiar.
Yeah. So the same core designer and his studio, that's who made this. So like they took everything about that game and evolved it more and streamlined it and made it like a sci-fi fantasy based.
Okay. The theme of it is super cool, right? Like I really dig that. Like smashing those two worlds together from like the thoughts of the is super unique, super creative. I really dig that a lot.
Yeah. So it's there is some platforming. I know you're not like a huge platforming fan, but but it's like kind of basic. Like there's not nothing crazy, you know what I mean? You're not
doing like quadruple double jumps.
Yeah, like there's depending on the world you're in and what you're doing, because things, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some levels where like things drastically change, and mostly in a hilarious way. But usually it's like you can double jump and you can dash. So there's like A is jump, you can jump twice, X is dash. Some of the levels there's like a grapple, so you hit the right bumper, it'll grapple, and it's super obvious, right? Like it's a big lit up thing, as long as, and it's really forgiving. It's like, as long as you're pointed in the fucking sky, the sky. Try not to swear on here. We'll bleep it out, do it in post. But as long as you're putting at the sky, like, and you hit the button, you're gonna grapple, right? So
okay,
yeah.
So they're really, this game is definitely there to share a story with you versus punish you for like heavy game mechanics.
Yes, and the times that you die is super forgiving. So if it's not like a fight thing, like you're just doing the platforming or like some mini puzzle or whatever it is, when you die, you just respawn almost like right where you were, or you respawn next to your buddy. So like, yeah. So if I had made it a little bit farther, it's very forgiving to like, oh, you died, I'm gonna put you kind of more up by your buddy. For most
so
parts.
I guess like would it, if you had like passed this jump, for example, would it put me past that jump potentially as well? So
potentially it seemed like it was dependent on the level and what we were doing.
Okay.
And then if you're in a combat, if you both die, you restart the combat. And so like and it's truly like a I don't know how to describe it, but basically like we're both shooting and fighting, you go down. You have a respawn timer and you can button mash to spawn faster. And it's my job to just stay alive long enough to get you back. And then we're good. You respawn and you keep fighting. But if we both die, we go back to the last checkpoint. But there's so many like checkpoints. It's so forgiving. Like this is a zero stress type of game. Even though my wife's hands were sweating the whole time, she kept touching me. She's like, I'm so nervous.
That's amazing. I love it. All right, I might have to check this one out, man. Maybe see if Haley's a little interested in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds pretty legit.
I definitely thought of you too when I saw it, or played it.
I vaguely remember one of the videos saying like it was like a 10-12ish hour story. Or do you get that feeling, or I guess how far along are you guys? Or have you only played like that 2 hours so far?
Yeah, we've only played the 2.5 hours. I think we'll probably play some tomorrow. Playing through the story, I think we beat like the first two like worlds, but as we got into them, essentially you're going to come across something that's like a little like a portal. This is not really spoilery, but it's a side quest. So like you're playing through the level, and if you see these portals, you can go in them and do these like really kind of off the wall side worlds, and they're like other stories in these chicks' heads, right? So they're like, oh, this was from when I was 15 and I wrote this book, and that's why it's so ridiculous, or I was 5, this is my first story, and that's why the level is like really, really off the wall, like think like cow level from Diablo type, like just crazy wacky stuff. Yeah. So I don't know, like the main story I'm sure is probably 10 to 12 hours of playing together. But with those side stories, maybe, I mean, we can look at how long to beat, but maybe it's 15 to 20.
Sure. I just curious because like normally, when you get those price drops to like that $50 mark, they're usually like 5-8 hour story, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just curious to get your feel on it.
I don't know if there's anybody's put a time in yet. Let's see. It doesn't say.
Oh, that's snap.
Weird. How long to beat does it have? How long to beat does it have a thing?
Okay.
Around 16 hours, it says on a GameSpot article.
All right. I mean, that's
yeah, if you do 0 side stories, it says 12 hours. If you do the side stories, 16. So
yeah, I mean that's a great amount of time to just hang out and with your partner or your buddy for a pretty good price. Honestly, I played.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think it took us that long to beat the main Warhammer story, right? And that was a full price, like $70-$80 game or whatever it was. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
See if EA can keep up that streak. I know they can't, but 15 years.
Don't worry, they're gonna
retiring.
Yeah, don't worry, they'll release WWE 2K, whatever it is, when we retire, and NBA, and and they'll be like microtransactions like directly linked to your bank account. You don't even have to do anything. It's just like you thought about getting a pair of shoes in game and it charged you.
Boop. There, done. Yep. Exactly.
All right, man. So like we're coming up to an hour. We said before the show, this is the hour or less episodes like Domino's back in the day, 30 minutes or less, or it's free. So
this is always free. I'm never I could never bring myself. I'll pay somebody to listen to it, but I can't charge somebody to listen to it.
It's that bad. It's that bottom of the barrel. Yeah. So what are you keen to play between now and next episode? What are you looking forward to?
I don't know, dude. It was gonna be Rogue Trader, but now I might be thinking some Monster Hunter. I don't know. Have to see what my credit card looks like. But I mean, I've been on the fence already for that one because I did enjoy Monster Hunter World quite a bit, like I said.
Yeah.
And from all accounts, from what I've seen and from what you just confirmed, it seems like this one's just a pretty much complete upgrade to that. Maybe with the little hiccup of actually playing with your buddies, which is kind of a pain, but probably one of those things like once you figure out what it is, then it's kind of negligible, just a pain to learn off the rip. That I bought a copy of New World from my brother week and a half ago or so. So he's been kind of another push for me to play more New World so that I can help him out, get him acclimated to the end game. And so I've been playing that with him, trying to help him get a little bit of gear. And then Rogue Trader, I don't love the combat yet. Like I like that style combat, like the grid kind of, turn-based kind of combat, like is typical for those games. I just don't love it yet. But that one, just because I'm more familiar with the universe, this is kind of like an Avowed thing where I'm not, so I wasn't super keen to keep going with Avowed. Rogue Trader, I'm a little bit more because I do know that I like that universe, right? So I'll definitely give that one a little bit more. I'd like to play that one for at least 5 hours before I go with the uninstall versus not versus continue with it. That, and I just downloaded last night right before I right after I turned off Rogue Trader, just popped up on Game Pass. It was like a sci-fi Stardew Valley. I don't even remember the name of the game at this point.
Starbound?
No. This one looked
That's
new.
Like Terraria. Okay.
Starbound's like Terraria. I just can't remember the dang name of it.
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
It was on sale on Steam as well. I saw last night for like $10. But it's on Game Pass.
Recent Game Pass additions. Come on, I'm looking for the chart that like shows this thing that they post like every week, dude.
Yeah, I know, right? Which is super handy. Except I type in Stardew and all I get is Stardew.
Not Monster Train, not Galacticare. Galacticare? No. One Lonely Outpost?
I think that's it.
One Lonely Outpost. Now I gotta pull this up.
Yeah, like this is it. The description was like, sometimes you just need a little bit of farming and exploration on a deserted planet or something like that. So downloaded it. Was like a 4 gig download. Haven't opened it yet. Like I said, it was something I saw right as I was kind of wrapping up the day yesterday, going to bed. So interested to give that a try. Those are super easy games for me to either recognize immediately if I'm gonna like it or if it's just an uninstall. So so look forward to giving that. When I saw it, like obviously it gives off super Stardew Valley style vibes, but then also started to make me reminisce a little bit about the game that you were talking about a couple episodes ago, where your kid is playing the mech farming one, whatever that one's called.
Oh yeah, Lightyear Frontier.
Lightyear, yeah, exactly. So, so I'll give that a try, see how it goes. Check in on that on the next episode. But anytime I see a Stardew clone, I'm always in for at least like an hour or so, just because I like Stardew that much. And then I saw, just actually right before I came on here, I saw it was you or somebody posted about the Baldur's Gate mod for Stardew Valley. So might have to check that out too. I don't know. We'll see. That would require me going onto the PC, but so check that out. And then also one other thing that I want to play. So as you know, I've been having a bunch of issues with my PC recently, and I finally got those resolved, I believe. But right before that started happening, I had purchased a game that I was very, very excited about, called Empire of the Ants. I think Empire of Ants, Empire of the Ants.
I remember,
and haven't gotten to actually play that yet because PC was busted. So definitely want to go back and try that out. A little bummed that I had pre-ordered that on Steam and then later found out that I could have got it on consoles. But I don't want to rebuy it, so I'm just going to be, playing it on the PC is what it is kind of deal.
Makes sense.
But yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at in the next week or two.
Okay.
How about yourself?
Nice. Yeah, man. I think one thing I mentioned I'm playing is Marvel Rivals. That's like my multiplayer game that I play. So
Yep.
I just got the platinum rank in that. Finally, platinum
Nice.
2. So trying to get higher. I'm really enjoying that game. So I'm sure I play that a little bit on the weekend with my one brother-in-law.
Okay.
So I'll play Monster Hunter Wilds. I want to get back into New World because I want to get up to the end game cap and that. And I don't know. Maybe that's it. I was playing some Hades 2 on my Steam Deck, so I might play that as well because there was a big update to that semi recently there. And then I'll get back to Avowed eventually. I like it more than you do, but it's also like I was excited about it, but then I'm just like, these games are better and hooking me more. Like the fighting big monsters, the kaiju style thing. It's just like that's my jam. And I have one funny moment I'll share really quick because I forgot about it. But I was fighting some big monster, and like some of those you like fight back to back to back. Like there's not a lot of break. So I beat this monster, and it comes up, and it's like quest complete. And my son knows what that logo means because I always say like, oh, quest complete. And and so I beat this monster, and he's like, yeah, quest complete, daddy. And I'm like, yep, that's right, kick some ass. And cutscene plays, and essentially like a bigger, badder monster shows up, and he goes, quest not complete, daddy, quest not complete.
Incredible. I love it. Incredible.
Yeah, so probably do a little bit of that, and I don't know, we'll see from there. So whatever somebody pulls me into.
I don't know if you've heard this. You probably don't follow this game as much anymore, but there's a pretty substantial or pretty legitimate rumor that Heroes of the Storm relaunching, not that it's gone away, but relaunching on Xbox. With the Game Pass, right? So the rumor was it was coming out in late February on Game Pass. Obviously, we've passed that date, but it's supposedly pretty credible that they are working to port this over. And as you know, such my YouTube algorithm has started popping up more Heroes of the Storm gameplay footage from some of my favorite streamers from back in the day that have either just always continued to play the game or have come back to the game. And so if that does actually turn out to be true, comes out in the next month or two, or I mean just in general on Xbox, dude, look out, world.
I'll hop on it.
That's what I'm talking about.
The article I was just reading was like basically they'll do a Game Pass version with all heroes unlocked for free because it's already like they're not actively developing it, right? But do you think this could gauge interest for like a new like relaunch or like a number 2 or an expansion or something, or like
I don't know. That's a good question because the game has been dormant. It's not like they don't do anything to it. They do sit there and pay attention to metrics and stuff like that, and do occasional patches and balance reworks and stuff like that. They're just not like every week like they were back in its heyday, right? I do think obviously doing a port over will add a much needed breath of fresh air to the game. Plus it's a good way for them to kind of get some more cash out of that Activision Blizzard buy-in, right? Because the game's fun. Like it's addicting. If you like Blizzard games in general, and you get to play your characters that you never get to play. You get to play as Diablo. Like you don't get to play as Diablo in Diablo. So
that's a good
I
point,
think
man.
It'll bring a much needed breath of fresh air. The game on PC at the moment is pretty. You either have to play. So back in the day, like we would just play quick match, right? And quick match is kind of dead for the most part. You have to wait a unacceptably long time to get a quick match group or match actually started. So most people have either transitioned to ranked or to another version that they called ARAM. I forget what it stands for, but it's just one lane instead of 3. And so it's super action packed. It's just constantly going from the rip. So those are kind of the two game modes that you play. I'd like to see a return to the quick match, even though I understand that's like the most unoptimized way to play the game. It is kind of always pretty exhilarating when you have just a god awful party comp or something like that, and you come back to win, right? You're like, oh no way. Yeah, that's some rumor mill stuff. Would love to see it come to console, and if it does, you can definitely catch me on it.
Yeah, I mean, if it comes to PC Game Pass, are you hopping on it, or you're not as interested?
Well, it wouldn't necessarily, because the game's free to play, right? So I guess coming to PC Game Pass doesn't. It kind of already is.
Like unlocked all characters or whatever. Like maybe all characters, all skins. I don't know. I'm just saying,
I see. Yeah, I see.
If it was only added to PC Game Pass.
Yeah, if like you could get like characters that I haven't already. No, I don't know. Good question. I did. So actually last night while I was messing around with some 3D printer stuff, I did update the game through the Blizzard launcher. I've played the game on and off for years at this point. So I have not all, but most of the characters unlocked as it is. But to just have all the characters unlocked off the rip for folks on Game Pass, I think that would be a huge benefit for getting new people to come and try the game out. Because back in the day, like when you and I were playing when it first came out, like I think you started with like 5 or 8 characters that you could pick from. Then you had
and then they had the weekly rotation or whatever.
Yeah, for the free ones. Yeah. So yeah, if that was a thing that they did, more power to them, man. More players is always a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if PC, maybe it's harder for me to play on PC and like keep an eye on my kids or like, take a break and walk away. But like if I play on the TV, it's a lot easier. I mean, just the console's a lot easier. As much as I would prefer to play on PC, other than being at a desk all day. You made a good point about that last episode. But yeah, if that comes on, I'm instant install. And I'm playing that because you're right, man. Like getting to play as Big Daddy D himself, Diablo, it's pretty awesome. Would they add other characters outside of Blizzard stuff? Do you think? Like, let's say it blew up, would they be like, oh, we also own Master Chief, let's throw him in there or no?
Oh man, I don't know. I think people might riot if they did that. Honestly,
yeah.
I think I vaguely remember when they started adding the Overwatch heroes, like people griping about that. And so like to bring outside Blizzard games into it, not that there's a ton of lore around the game to begin with. I think that would irritate people. Also, I don't know that they want to devote that much resources to the game as it is. I think they just want to try to get some. I
kind of meant like if it's a relaunch, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily complain. Seeing Diablo go versus Master Chief. All right, cool. Let's do it. Why not? Okay.
What about I'm here for it. They own Activision. Well, obviously Activision. So like Crash Bandicoot skin for Hogger or something. Like I don't know.
Skins actually. That's a great idea because you could put a Master Chief skin on like Jim Raynor, for example. Right.
Oh yeah.
So that's a really good point. I could definitely see that and not getting too much backlash. Not that there's a extreme amount of players to begin with to backlash, but no, that's a really good idea. That's a really good point.
Yeah, I'm looking at the character. Yeah, I mean they added Diva and stuff from Overwatch and Genji.
Yeah.
The character sheet is way bigger than I thought. I think I stopped playing a little bit before they put these in here.
Okay.
As I scroll through this, is Hearthstone is not on console, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
I feel like they need to put that game on a console too if they want to make some more money.
I know it's on mobile. Like I used to play it on my phone in between class and stuff like that in college, but I don't think it's on console.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how hard it is to port that, but I feel like that would make some extra money too.
For sure.
So, all right. So we know what we're looking forward to. We know what we're playing, and we know we're hoping this bad boy drops. And then we gotta finish up these games before April when Claire Obscure 33 comes out because the previews are looking good, boy.
Tell me about it, man. It's coming quick, and I'm not even complaining. Not even mad.
Yeah. That'll be a good birthday present for me. It's a couple weeks after my birthday.
Nice.
Some time off, play that. That'll be good. So
take a week off. Show up the other dude, the Monster Hunter dude.
Yeah. Shout out to Monster Hunter dude. If you're a fan of the show, let us know what you're going to be playing. Should Curtis pick Split Fiction or Monster Hunter Wilds or something else entirely? Give us a like, subscribe, and of course leave comments and drop in the Discord. Curtis, you got any last minute words before you pop off?
I got no last minute words, man. Gotta go make me a coffee, maybe a Red Bull. I don't know. We'll see. Play some video games. Get those comments in quick because I got about 5 minutes before I purchase one of these.
Oh, there you go. I'm trying to think if am I going to watch anime or go play Monster Hunter Wilds? I don't know. It's 10:30, so if I get on Wilds, I might be on like way too late. You know what I mean?
Been there, man. Been there.
Yeah. Except you don't have to be up at 6 a.m. when the kids get up or whatever. My kid's like, "Is it up time?" I'm like, "No, it's iPad in the bedtime. Go back to bed. You lay right here and watch a video."
Incredible.
Yeah. So, all right. That was episode 26. We'll catch you next time for episode 27. See you guys later.
Peace.
Time for the show. Friends together. Ready, set, go. Games on channel.